So I'm having a chat with Mike McKenzie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. So after this interview, we'll be playing a new single of yours called Mr. Bang. Tell us a bit about the single, first of all.
Yeah, it's the latest one from my debut album. We wanted to have a song come out with the record that like feels like a festival like anthem, like ready for summer. And it's actually a track that's like one of the oldest ones, or one of the ones that was written the longest ago. So I've been writing and recording music for a long time, but it's taken me a minute to finally do a solo debut album. And Yeah, this was one of the sort of the songs that's been kicking about for ages and just needed its moment, and now's its moment. So, yeah, I'm buzzing for it to be out in the world and ready for people's summers. So it's a good it's a good feel good jump about, sun is shining,
Mhm.
good time.
Yeah, absolutely. And as mentioned, that is off your debut record, which is out now. I'd wait again. For those who've not had a chance to take a listen to it yet, tell us a bit about it.
Yeah, so it's called I'd Wait Again basically because I'm like 36 and I just signed my first record deal and I'm kind of maybe like older to be new, if that kind of makes sense. I don't know. But it was after the in 2019, I'd actually won the Singer-Songwriter of the Year with Radio Scotland. And Fran Healy from Travis, just to name drop a little, Fran Healy from Travis was one of the judges. And so I was like standing in St. Luke's in Glasgow, which is this beautiful like church venue, epic space. And I just played with like a string trio and it was all wild and it was all very exciting. And I won the award. And then he sort of leans in and he was like, things might change from here on, like, but like, take your time, make sure you do it the way that you want to do it, make sure you release music the way that you want to release it, and yeah, take your time with it. And so I don't think he expected me to wait like 5 years, but I've waited and finally decided it was the right time, and it was very kismet. I then almost immediately met Marty Haley, who's produced the record and is the label as well, and we had a demo session. We knocked out a song in like a day, and he turned and was like, "We need to make a record."
Mhm.
And so here we are, and I just love the record so much, and I feel like actually that wait was very much worth it. And so yeah, so I'd wait again is where the title comes from, because I just love it because it just encompasses all of my musical influences. It's like everything from like I grew up like listening to everything from like the Beatles to like Billy Joel, like but also like love pop music and like from a very musical home. My mum used to like direct like musicals and my dad used to be in the like amateur dramatic stuff. And so we were like that family in the car singing three-part harmonies on the drive to Loch Lomond. And Yeah, so I just wanted the whole album to encompass all of those influences. So there's like folky tracks on there, there's like a little country track on there, there's like pop tracks, and then there's like this like Mr. Bang, which is more of a like band kind of big festival track.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's a bit of everything on the
Nice,
album.
nice. And I like to talk a bit about the writing side of things as well. So for you, how do the tracks normally start off?
It really depends. Like I think like I was saying, like I kind of come from like a melody harmony kind of place. So I'll just sort of be mucking about and something might stick sonically. So it might just be even gibberish like lyrics, but the sound and the melody and the sort of vowel sounds and things might come and then it'll piece together that way. Other times I'll have like a theme or something I want to talk about. I love to collaborate, so I've worked with like a bunch of different songwriters and artists and bands and stuff over the years. And so I also love to just like learn from them and kind of take from their experiences too. It's like, so there's like loads of different routes. I think like Homesick, which is one of the other singles on the album, that was like a rehearsal I was doing. We'd already, I think, started recording, and I was in a rehearsal for a show and found a couple of chords and was like, oh, and then it just kind of spilled out. And so like sometimes I feel like I can't even take credit for like the
Mm.
writing. It just sort of, I don't know, it sort of yeah, does itself. So yeah, again with the album, so there's songs that are like 8, 9 plus years old, and then songs that are like written during the recording process. So, but yeah, sorry to go back. Different ways might be jamming it out, might be a theme, might be a line. I have like be out with my friends and someone will say something, and I'm like, oh, stealing that right in my
Mhm.
notes. There might be a little like tagline or something to jump off from. But yeah, a little bit of everything, really.
Yeah, and I find that many artists struggle most with the lyrics. What are the lyrics like for you? Are they pretty straightforward, or can they be a challenge at times?
They can definitely be a challenge. I think it's one of those things where perception is kind of uh, so unique, and people take songs and they mean. I think that's it's the biggest part of releasing music is that it's no longer yours. It's whoever is listening to it.
Mm.
Like the whole wedding song thing. Somebody will have a wedding song playing, and you're like, you've read the lyrics of the second verse, right? But it might not make sense to you that it may, but for someone else, it just is attached to memory or attached to the thing. So lyrics, I always think uh, that if you just write from your heart and you just write from your truths and you just tell your stories, then there's nowhere to get tripped up in the authenticity of it. Um, and so I kind of always try and write from that place. I also like the kind of like live lounge test
Mm.
where it'll be, because the record obviously is big production. We had everything, also, by the way, everything is played by humans, which is really cool. So it's like a real Hammond on there, there's a real string trio, there's sorry, quartet, there's a brass section. We've had like old Korgs and Rhodes, 70s Rhodes electric pianos on the record and stuff too. And uh, yeah, like I think. I've wandered off. What were we saying? I got excited about the musical instruments on the thing.
Talking about
Um,
lyrics.
yeah, sorry. So, I think the being authentic, I think, is what I'm trying to say. I think
Mhm.
like the more authentic you can be as a songwriter, I think people can just relate to it better and more honestly. Um, but I think it can be a challenge though, because you want to say something and you might know what it means to you, and then you show it to somebody else or show it to a pal or show it to another songwriter or something. They're like, "What does that mean?" I'm like, "Oh, this, obviously," and it's like
Mm.
maybe that's not obvious because because you know what you're talking about. So there's a fine line maybe perhaps between being straight to the point and kind of very clear in your intentions with the song. And then the other side is to maybe can consider leaving it slightly open to interpretation so that people can, use the songs and have the songs for whatever they need them for.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, fair enough. And you've got some touring, you've got some shows coming up throughout May. I bet you can't wait to be doing some shows.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I love playing live. Getting to meet people is like the best bit. Um, you can probably tell I like to talk a lot, so like
Makes
getting to
my
meet
job easier.
people. But yeah, so getting to like meet everyone, that's like my favorite part. I think there's something special about like playing live, especially like I'm doing everything from like private house concerts like to venues to like showcase things to like festivals. So yeah, I'll be like trundling around in my little like camper van. Well, camper van is generous. It's basically a car with a flat bit in the back for like sleeping. But yeah, from like Tane all the way down to London. So I'll be everywhere. But I think it's just like meeting people. I just love it so much. And like the audience and the people that come to these shows are more important than me playing the music. It's like to create that atmosphere is just it's all I don't know, I just love it. It's like the most wholesome thing in the world is to sing your little songs and other people listen and
Mm,
chat about it all. And yeah, I love touring.
good.
But yeah, so if you've got a garden or a little front room, you want a little house concert, hit me up. Hit me up on my socials.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm sure people will be taking you up on that offer because you've only got dates booked in now until the end of May. What are you doing after that? What's the plan?
Yeah, so this tour is mainly solo, so it's mainly just me. There's a few shows where I have my guitarist Karen and my musical bestie Mally Smith. She's going to be joining me for some backing vocals on a couple of shows. But the plan is to uh, come back out again on tour later in the year, but with hopefully with the band, the full band, which will be cool. So we'll get to do more of a full experience of the album. But this tour, I'm just really excited to get out and chat about the songs and share them sort of stripped back the way they were all written.
Mhm.
But yeah, so yeah, that I think just loads and loads of gigging. Really, that's the plan.
Nice. Are you hoping to be back in the studio at some point?
Yeah, definitely. I love that too. I love starting with nothing and leaving with a song in the world. Where I think that's quite a magical thing. So yes, definitely. Hopefully, fingers crossed. There will be more. But for now, there's the album, and it's like 12 tracks, which is really exciting too. It's like the biggest chunk of work that I've ever put out in one go. Um, but yeah, At some point, there'll be more. There'll be more.
Yeah.
There's always more. There's always more music.
Yeah, yeah, good. I'd like to also find out for those who, because you're fairly new to the world of us and the music world, I'd like to find out what got you into this in the first place.
So I actually used to tour in a band when I was a teenager. So I was a drummer in a band called Jackal in the sort of 2000s, and we were like high school band that did all right. Because also at the time it was basically just MySpace and Bebo, so there
Hmm.
was no like social media to muck around with. It was like word of mouth, and we did all right. We were like toured about the UK for a little bit, and when I was about 20, I left the band, and so that. And pretended to be a grown up for a little while and realized that wasn't for me. So I came back to music. But yeah, so that kind of really, really gave me a shot at seeing what it was like to play live and to play shows and tour about and the permission from my parents too, honestly, to be honest, like to pursue that as a job instead of just a hobby was also a huge influence in me. So I was very lucky that I was given that permission to pursue it. And then have a band around me at the time that was just like we were all learning to play together and just had such a hoot. But yeah, so I think that also shout out to Mr. Wilkinson at Balerno High School, the music teacher of all music teachers. He was super supportive. You know, our high school, like Nina Nesbitt was our school. There's like a bunch of like other artists and bands and stuff that came out of our school because, and I think a huge part of that was his influence and his allowing us to access instruments and sort of just have a shot. I think it's hard to just have a shot of an instrument. They're expensive and
Mm.
it's hard to get lessons and schools are coming back on that. And so yeah, again, just really luck probably is how I've managed to end up in music. Yeah, yeah.
Nice, nice, Mike. It's been a pleasure having a chat with you.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, yeah, thank you.